Thank you, Diego.
I tell them, I value in the classroom, we're intellectuals, we're organic intellectuals, we're engaged in theory, concepts. I don't treat them as introductory students. So I tell them that I value their intellectual labor as much as I value labor.
We have other things that we're also working on. We are also working on the Salton Sea Conference. That'll be May 9th. And so we have that also going on. And so we have to like sometimes juggle. And you know what? We welcome volunteers. The Lambs, they discontinued it because of funding, and they were going to they didn't know what to do with the books. And luckily Petra, I know her, and she called me and she said, Isabel, you want the books? You can do whatever you want with them. So we've been giving them out at different events.
Speaking of athletics, we will be recognizing the Sierra Sisters of Calexico. They are national champions out of Calexico in boxing, in youth boxing. Anybody remember the Filipinos here? Yeah. The Filipinos were strong, tough people, that's for dang sure. And they have long been not recognized for being part of the core, not just Imperial County, but any agricultural community in the Southwest, right? And
we did also invite Lauren Zaragoza to be part, because as you know, she was just recognized first place for wrestling for BUHS.
Yeah.
Her mother actually was a former student of mine. Unfortunately, she's not going to be in town for that day, but we did call them. We want to make sure we do outreach and we recognize those that need to be recognized. But we're very excited. We're very excited.
And talking about lost history, I want to recognize Robert Garcia here, who's here. Robert Garcia epitomizes what we talk about. He's been very vocal about what's going on in administration, but his history allows him that leeway to do these things too. Robert was drafted into the Vietnam War and served in combat in Vietnam. And Robert was also in the National Guard and got deployed to Iraq.
Okay, I'd like to say thank you and recognize Louis here. He called me the other day and tell me, hey, can I do this? Can I do that? And I said, yeah, do it.
Initiative,
but I did. Katie Santillan called me this morning. She says she wants to do more, especially on the march. So she's going to put up on her billboard by her where she works at. She's going to put a big an announcement there. All right, so that's good.
It's going to be a very proud moment, not just for us, but for the Filipino community.
I just want to...
Hey!
Yesterday, just reminded me about that. Yesterday, my grandson, he stayed the night with us. Did you see that? Do you understand that? And my grandson, it's the first grade, he said, it's racism. I said, what? What's racism, mijo? It's when white people don't like black people. Okay. I said, it's more than that, okay? It could be either way. It could be other different ways. But I was kind of surprised that he knew at that age what racism was. And I was kind of actually made me feel good that at least he's conscious about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of people that are older, my age even and younger, that they're just not conscious or they just don't care.
The thing is, my name is Joseph Adrian Salazar. I came out in People's Press. I used to be here on the streets of Brawley, California. I used to be homeless. I literally used to be homeless. I didn't have anywhere to go. So then I went out to take over memberships for the Imperial Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. I became a UC ambassador. I represent Berkeley and UC San Diego. So I represent this area of underprivileged demographics to transfer it into a four-year university. Then they would be able to have a hope in the future. I always have to fight for it. I always have to fight for it. When I go to a job interview, I have to fight harder than the next man because I got a record. And I'm not ashamed of it, but I have to fight hard. Without education, I wouldn't be here today. I don't come from a rich family. I don't come from my mom can pay for my books. We don't come from that type of family. I always tell everybody, this is my meal ticket. This is how I'm going to make it out the hood.
As far as the farm worker started in 1965 with my family and I was 13 years old. We used to work up north, San Jose, in Las Tijuelas. $25. It's $25 a day. $25 in those days went a long way. Every year we had to go work. If you wanted school clothes, you wanted shoes, you wanted whatever, you had to go to work. But it was 95 cents an hour. In those days, there was no bathrooms, no place to wash your hands, no breaks for lunch. You had to eat. You sent a taquear. Get one of those old cool cans, those metal cans, tied a rope to it, into the river, bring it up, throw a block of ice in there, and put a can of pores Que quiera tomar, ahí está el agua. If you want to drink water, there it is. That's the way it was. Your back was all screwed up and everything, and then we had to work el cuartito. That didn't come out till way later. It was more like one bedroom, and the bathrooms, the kitchen was close by, but the bathrooms were like the military. They were outside. Open showers, open commodes. And some of the older people, no, they're communists, they're so comunistas, because they saw the red markings on the bands. And I didn't know that either. He said, well, tell me, no, they're not communists, man. They're working for a cause, you know. And I was like 17. Later on, it's starting to make sense to me, because I experienced as a kid a lot of the prejudice that was here in Brawley. My mom would tell me about the weekend. I was like, what, 8 years old or so. You can't cross over here a certain time at night. Basically,
one of the stories in Cesar Chavez's life, he went to Miguel Hidalgo School right here in Brawley. He graduated 8th grade, probably about 16. So my dad was 17, but he graduated 8th grade, the family. But in his biography, one of the reasons of how he worked so hard was the hatred and the segregation and racism in Brawley. He specifically stated that. And now we're able to celebrate Cesar Chavez on Main Street in Brawley on the west side. It's how far we've come, but not far enough yet, right? We have a long way still to go.
But Araceli, who is the president of
Public Arts.
Yeah,
Yes.
Public Arts.
And she's saying that the first place winner of the art contest, they're going to ask to replicate that drawing or that picture onto a mural. And we can all help to do that. She's going to ask for donations so that we can do that. And she's going to ask for different wall space. Their rendition, their art will also be publicly displayed.
That's awesome.
So we're excited to hear that. We're excited. We're excited.
¡Sí se puede!
¡Sí se puede!
Thank you all.
Tickets.